Ready to experience living in a luxury high-rise condo in Las Vegas? Well, hold on, because I'm going to share the only tips you need to know to pick the perfect high-rise condo for you. Tip number one, consider the location. What type of lifestyle do you want to create in your high-rise condo? Do you want to live in the fabulous city center and be able to walk over to the T-Mobile Arena and catch a Golden Knights game, or go on a luxury shopping spree at Crystals? Then you're going to want to live at Veer or Waldorf Astoria. If you're somebody that loves seeing the Las Vegas Strip from your high-rise unit, you want to have those panoramic views, you may want to consider the Panorama or the Martin. Something else to note is if you're going to work all the time, you're going to want to know the traffic conditions and the traffic flow. Another thing to note is there's lots of complimentary public transportation here on the Strip. We have the ARIA Express, we have the boring underground tunnel. If you're wanting to commute around the Las Vegas Strip, it does get heavily trafficked during holiday weekends like 4th of July, and games and concerts and Golden Knights games. So these are things you're going to want to consider when picking your high-rise building. Comment below and let me know which high-rise building in Las Vegas you're considering. Tip number two, inspect the building. So majority of the high-rises in Las Vegas were built between 2004 and 2008, which means these towers are 20 years old. So it's important for you to do a quick walk around the tower, the outside, the inside, checking out the different amenities. Do they look like they've been upkept? Does it look like there's been refreshes through the years? Ask questions about this, because if you're in a building that's going downhill and not being preserved and not being upgraded and upkept, there may be a special assessment coming, or they may not have enough money in the reserves at the HOA to keep up with all the maintenance in the tower, which could mean decline in prices. Things to consider. Look at the amenities. How does the pool look? Take a look inside the pool. Does it look like it's being refreshed and maintained? Walk around the gym. Is the equipment sparkling, shiny, clean? Are the mirrors nice? As you walk around, are you noticing a lack of repairs? You're seeing chips in the floor, carpet stains. These are all things you're going to want to know. Tip number three, a deep dive in the Homeowners Association and the dues. The most common question I get about high-rise condos is the Homeowners Association dues. They seem pretty extreme, but it's something you're going to want to note when you're looking at different high-rise buildings. Something you want to know is, what does this Homeowners Association include? But first, what is a Homeowners Association? A Homeowners Association, an HOA, is an association that enforces the rules and regulations for the condo building. They also enforce budgets, maintenance, and keep up with things, questions, and concerns among the residences. Every single tower has different things that it includes within the HOA. If you start adding up things like your utilities, the landscape service, the pool guy, your fitness, your spa, your valet, and all of these things, it may come pretty close to that HOA fee. But this is something you're gonna wanna know. What does the HOA include? It may be really high and not include that much. But something you have to note is the building has to pay for the staff that runs it, the insurance for the building, and they need to be ready for any major maintenance items for the building and have reserves for that. Some questions you're going to want to ask while looking at high-rise condos. When was the last time the HOA fees were increased? Are there any special assessments coming? How are the HOA payments due? Are they due in quarterly, monthly? How many HOAs are there for this particular unit? Some units have more than one, some have up to 3, and this is something you're going to want to know. You also want to ask what utilities are maintained, what insurance coverage is in the building. Are there any pending litigations? And are there enough reserves to cover any major appliances or major things within the building that may break down in the years to come? These are some other questions to ask when it comes to the HOA within a condo building. If we haven't met yet, my name is Courtney Bentley, and I'm a luxury real estate agent here in Las Vegas. I offer a concierge service to take the headache out of moving to my favorite city, Las Vegas. Now let's move on. Tip number 4, request a copy of the rules and regulations of a building that you're fond of. The rules and regulations could make or break your ideal condo for you. Now, some of these rules and regulations include things like pet restrictions. You can only have a certain amount of pets and they can only weigh up to a certain limit. Another thing that I hear all the time from my clients is parking. Some of these towers have valet only, meaning you can't park your own car, or they have a limit on the amount of cars you can park within the garage. Some other things to note and consider are noise restrictions, when the common areas are open, how to book the common areas, and you also want to know who's enforcing these rules and regulations. What if you have a neighbor next door who's throwing wild parties every single night? Who do you contact? What do you do? You want to know exactly what these rules and regulations are before you put that offer in on your dream high-rise condo. If you're interested to learn more about the pros and cons of high-rise living, check out the video above. Tip number 5, not all high-rise buildings here in Las Vegas can be financed. If you're out there and you're considering financing a high-rise condo, it's important to note not all of these buildings can be financed through traditional loan service. A lot of these buildings have undergone litigation. Litigation for windows, litigation for people tripping and falling, and oftentimes lenders don't have programs to support high-rise condos, especially with what happened in 2008 when our market crashed. These high-rise towers are considered high risk still to this day with many of the nationwide lenders. Now, some of these high-rise condos were built in the later years, and some of them did rentals before they sold so that they were able to keep those values high. Another thing to note is most of these condos are considered non-warrantable. Non-warrantable condos means that there may be more renters than owners. That's the case for the condotels and why they're so difficult to finance. Another reason, like I mentioned, is a pending litigation. So these are things you're going to want to find out. Many times, local lenders here in town, many of whom I have relationships with, will finance these towers. So it's important to connect with an agent who knows what's up and what to do if you're considering financing one of these high-rise condos. Tip number 6, rental restrictions. Many of these high-rise condos have rental restrictions. So a lot of people contact me and they say, Courtney, I want to have a high-rise condo on the Las Vegas Strip that I can enjoy a few times a year. Okay, great. But did you know you're not going to be able to rent that condo out unless you sign a 6-month and more lease? Yes, many high-rise towers here in town have that clause within the rules and regulations. Now, if you are looking for a quick Airbnb type situation, we do have 5 properties in town considered condotels which allow for that. But if you're looking to be in a building like Waldorf Astoria or Veer, Panorama, or the Martin, you are going to want to note that these are long-term rentals if you are looking to invest or have a crash pad here in Vegas. There are also some towers downtown like Jewel and Ogden that have 30-day rentals if you are looking to do more of a corporate rental or have some space downtown. It's very important to consider these 6 tips when it comes to finding the perfect high-rise building. While a unit may seem spectacular with fantastic views, it may have regulations on pets and you may have tons of pets. Or you may be someone who does not want anyone touching your car but you. These are all things you're going to want to consider when it comes to looking for the perfect high-rise unit for you. As I always say, I have a list of questions, and these are questions that I always ask clients who are looking to find a high-rise condo. We want to know, what's your goal with the high-rise unit? Is this a crash pad? Is this a long-term game for you? Is this somewhere that you want to call home? You want to know what rental restrictions are there, what financing options you have, what amenities are included, and why those HOAs are so high. These are all things you're going to want to ask, so you're always going to want to work with an agent who specializes in high-rise condos, which is me. If you have any questions or comments about high-rise units here in Las Vegas and Henderson, give me a comment below. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you never miss a video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.